So the speech was about texting and driving and the causes and the problems and what happens when you do text and drive. And I thought, do you ever wonder what happens like when your kids pull out of the driveway and like what happens to them? Like you don't have reliability on them anymore. Like when they leave, like you can't do anything about it. Like you can't protect them. So like I thought, like what do they do whenever they like leave? And so most kids in like America and everywhere else like text and drive, but in some places like they try to stop it. Like in New York, like you can't text or drive at all. And when you first get your license in Texas, you can't have your phone at all in the car. And the causes of like injuries is 450,000, and the deaths is 5,000 deaths a year, and you have like 24,000 deaths a year also. And texting and driving is 23 times more likely to like get in an accident, and your reaction time is way less because you always keep looking up and down. And I've seen people drive and they just curve to like the ditch and stuff, and they don't pay attention at all, and you just think to themselves like, why are they doing that? I mean, they could hurt someone, and like that's a cause of like injury. You can cause injury to people, like death, and like I mean, like, what are you gonna tell people? Like, oh yeah, I killed someone because I was texting and driving. Like, that's just something bad to do. And like most of the time, like whenever you do text and drive, you will get in an accident because you're more likely to, and you're just gonna like cause someone to like die, or another, like you could just be home and like be texting your brother or sister, and you could be saying, hey, like when are you coming home? And that person could look at it and they could just like drive off the road and die, and then you're gonna think that's your fault, and then you're gonna be feeling guilty, and then you're gonna feel like depressed and stuff, and you're just gonna feel like you're the cause of like that death. So it's a major problem to be fixed, and most people just don't think of it that way because they're just thinking, oh well, one little text isn't gonna hurt. But in reality, I mean, you can hurt someone else's family. Like, you kill their brother, their mom, their dad, and it's going to be all your fault. So, some places try fixing it, but, like, in New York, like I said, you're not allowed to have a phone at all. But in Texas, they have, like, some places, like, in school zones, you're not allowed to text. Like, they have a fine for it. It's, like, $5,000. And in some other places, they do. But other than that, they have many, like, things to fix with it. But they also have, like, some cars that they're trying to fix where they have, like, a wireless phone set in it where you can talk to them but without, like, touching the thing, like the radio or any of that. So you can just call them automatically, like where you don't have to use your hands and you have both hands on the wheel. So they have that, and then they also, like, try, like, giving, like, Bluetooth and, like, headsets. But they don't always work because sometimes you still have to mess with it because they don't work right. But some people just don't understand. Some people mess with their radio, and that messes with them because they have to, like, look down. Like, anytime you have to look down, you're just messing up, like, how you drive. Because you will curve to the road, and you can just hit someone just a little bit, and it's going to cause, like, a huge, big difference. And also, like, when you, like, start driver's ed, they tell you can't work, like, on the radio, or they tell you can't use your phone, it has to be off. So that's always, like, a big thing to, like, think about, like, to not text and drive. And the only ways you can fix it is basically just, like, to not do it, or to just, like, make it where it's illegal, where nobody, like, wants to get a fine. But, I mean, they do that for many things, like drinking. They also have, like, a big death rate for accidents in cars. But for drinking, they have a fine. It's like $20,000 for drinking, and they don't want anyone doing it. And most people don't want to pay that big of a fine for your first drinking fine, so they just don't do it. So that's what they can do for, like, texting and driving.